And we're back. Hey, everybody. It's your host, Darren Carter, the party starter. Thanks again for tuning into the Pocket Party Podcast. If it's your first time listening or watching, I thank you for checking it out. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. On the line, we have pop culture on the host. On the line, we have pop culture geek Mike Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? That's the best intro I've ever had.
Yeah, that'd be weird. On the host, because he's about 225 pounds of tons of fun. I don't know what you weigh. I'm just picturing you being like a solid cannonball of,
That's 225 pounds is a generous estimate of my current weight. I wish I were that thin and happy about life.
Yeah.
I would be dancing if I weighed 225 pounds right now.
Do you even jump? Do you even jump on a scale anymore? Or
no? Fuck it. I went I started going to the gym right before COVID. Hadn't been to the gym. I'm not kidding. In like 10 years. Started going like religiously for about a month and a half, and up to that point, a thing that was happening with me every time I would go to the gym, where it would really dishearten me and make me quit, was ab work. I would do ab work and I would always get like abdominal cramps from doing it.
Oh, dude, yeah, like where the muscles start quivering. I felt that too, where it's
like real bad, because I didn't know a lot of techniques that can stop that from happening. And also that like I was just way dehydrated and not getting enough potassium, and all of that together, every time I would get these just outrageous cramps. And then I would just be afraid of going to the gym. And then eventually I would just not care and do other stuff,
Yeah.
But so I had gotten up to where I was doing like this. To your healthy listeners, this is not going to be a big deal. But for me, it was a huge deal. I got up to where I was doing 100 crunches every time I went.
Oh, that's huge.
And then COVID started,
yeah.
And like the lockdown happened, and they're like, "You can't go to the gym anymore." And I was like, come on."
I know. You know what it is? Yeah, there's something about having a place to go where it's like, okay, I'm here. I've got to work out. It'd make you part of the. But
and I was like taping my workouts. Like if you look way down in my Instagram, you'll see me like being motivational. Because like anytime you do something like that, if you're an entertainer,
I know I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I used to see that and I was like, oh, that's let's get. And I think that we did a couple episodes where it was like, transformation, Mike Black, and then
it was great. And I was like, and other like fatties were calling me up and and like sending me messages like, hey, I ate less bacon today because I saw your thing, or I stopped like at half a bag of Cheetos today because I saw your thing.
Yep.
Or I only watched
and then I think about the
7 hours of TV.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't put ranch on everything today because I saw your video. It's
right.
I really felt like I was making a difference, with the other lard asses, and I was like, thanks, my chubby friends, and so I was like real proud of all of us because of this. But then COVID happened and I went totally the other way. I got like real bummed out and depressed about everything. I haven't even talked about this to anybody, but I got like super low, and I kind of Brian Wilsoned out in my apartment, and I was just like,
"I'll show you a crunch."
Like I'd hear the ice cream truck, and I was like too fat to go get ice cream.
Oh God!
I'd be like, neighborhood kid, go tell the guy what I want. And get yourself a little something too,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Then he'd come back. He only has fudge, and I'd tell her that's fine. Just grab as many as you can carry, and then take a couple of your folks. You know.
You know what, man? It's I think a lot of people did that, including myself. Like they, like you've heard of like the freshman 15. Some people called it the COVID 15 or the COVID 10.
I wish 15. I'd be thrilled if it was the COVID 15. It was more like the Corona 45 or something.
God.
Like, but yeah, but I really don't. I've been giving myself maybe too much of a pass about it, but like, I just didn't say no to nothing. You know, like through the holidays and stuff like that. I was like, I'm spending my holidays alone. I'm having turkey pot pie every day, you know, or, you know, scoops and cheese whiz sounds pretty good to me to ring in the New Year's.
You know what a great invention is? And I just discovered this like maybe a year ago. I shouldn't even tell you this because I want you to.
Oh, no. You're going to tell me like how to deep fry a Snickers or something.
No, you probably already know this, but for me, I discovered it like for myself like a couple of years ago that, and it's not even a food. It's actually, it's clothing. It's, you know, they have like, I wear Lucky brand jeans, and I didn't realize they call it athletic fit, and all that means is it has a stretchy waistband.
Yeah. Like, I'm well aware of the stretchy waistband. That's the only kind of pants I do is stretchy waistband. Because I honestly I've always fluctuated so much that I really don't know what pants are going to fit me until I'm in them. You know, I'm like, oh, these ones fit today. They didn't a week ago, but they fit fine today. You know, or vice versa. You know.
Yeah, I have like two favorite pair of jeans, and they were both like in the laundry or something, or I don't know. There was a reason I couldn't put them on, so I was like, oh, let me get my other Lucky brand jeans, and they were the wrong kind, and they didn't have that stretchy jean, and I was like, oh my God, these are tight, and I realized I couldn't lift my legs. You know, like I mean, I can lift my legs, but barely because it's like. They're so tight, like, and I'm like, I don't like these. So I was like, man, I got to lose weight and I got to like get some more of those stretchy jeans.
My laundry is basically the laundry you would have to have if you were a shapeshifter.
Oh, God. That's
it's
funny.
all like clothes of varying sizes that stretch a whole lot. You know?
They're like, oh, Mike, you're doing the family's laundry? No, it's all me.
Yeah, people, like I have like comic book nerd friends that are like, I don't see how the Hulk's pants could do that, and I'm like, I do because I know where you would buy pants that can do that. You go from real skinny guy to humongous green guy.
Oh, it's so funny you said that. My wife and I were talking about old memorabilia and nostalgia and old TV shows, and you know dude, this is hilarious. They you know, we're in our 40s, and they grew up with black and white TVs, and my wife was like. She's like, yeah, you know, we didn't get to see the Hulk turn green, you know, back when you wouldn't you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Like they knew that he changed, but you didn't get to actually see him turn green. You just saw him turn darker, I guess.
Yeah. That probably was not good for race relations at the time. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine how bad. But like,
they're like, no, that's not, it's green. It's an imaginary skin color. And we're like, not in our house. No.
We swear we're not trying to be racist. It's from the comic books. It's green. You know. But all of a sudden he's angry and uneducated. That's not cool, man. No, that's not what we're doing.
No, I know.
You know, but yeah, like we had a black and white TV when I was a kid, and that I would say like the first 2 or 3 years of my life was black and white TV. And I kind of knew what the colors were supposed to be. Don't you feel?
Yeah.
Like, and I think shows back then were more conscious of mentioning, like, oh, Dr. Banner turned big and green and then ran off. You know?
Yeah.
They would kind of let you know what was going on color wise. I would imagine TV was a lot better for colorblind people at that time because they would let them know, you know, this is what's happening and this thing is blue. You know, do you remember the movie Mask?
Yes. Yep.
With Eric Stoltz and Cher.
Yeah.
and Laura Dern was in it too. And Laura Dern played his girlfriend that was blind, which was like the only way he could get a girlfriend.
Dude, I remember that movie because he had red hair and I had red hair, and I was like, God, I hope people don't, because a couple people try to cap on me and make fun of me, and I was like, God, I hope that doesn't get out there more. Like, it was only like one or two people, but still.
He was a much bigger uggo.
Oh, okay.
If that helps.
Thank you, buddy.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, really, but he was a much bigger uggo. And but his blind girlfriend, she was like, the thing that sucks about being blind is I don't know anything about colors. And he did a cool thing where he like gave her an ice cube, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "That's blue." And she's like, "Oh," and then he like lit a match under her hand and was shit. "That's red," and and then he gave her some slimy thing, and he was like, "That's green." Yeah. I would have been such a scumbag. I would have lied and been like, "This color is called penis."
Exactly. Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's everyone's favorite color.
Yeah. He puts his wiener in her hand and he's like, "That's dark green, if you know what I mean." Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna turn neon red or whatever.
Exactly. Right now, my things are blue, if you know what I mean.
This is why they didn't let me write Mask 2.
Exactly. They're like, "Mike, you're taking it a different direction."
Yeah, it was a very sweet scene until you did that to it. Until you brought the penis color crayon.
By the way, if you want to show your support, every little bit helps, and I really mean that. PayPal, go to DarrenCarter.com. There's a support the show button at DarrenCarter.com. Support the show using PayPal. If you're more of a Venmo person, you like doing Venmo, it's very easy. At Darren Carter Comic. At Darren Carter Comic on Venmo. PayPal, go to DarrenCarter.com. Support the show. Every little bit counts. I'm telling you, it means a lot. It means the world. And it keeps this show going. It keeps me motivated, and it buys new equipment, and it just helps. So thank you so much.
Pocket Party.
So to me, before getting up, not early, but pretty early would be if I were to wake up at, let's say, I don't know, 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. I'm like, oh, it's still okay. It's before noon,
Right. Yeah, I would do that a lot. And like when we talked the last time, what was your cutoff? You were like, I want to have the podcast by 5 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I was like, I said, well, because lately so my son starts school at 8, so I try to get up at, before, so I can see him before, and I usually stay up now. It's like so I'm usually up and out of bed by like 7:30 a.m. and and I'm like, let's try to do the podcast before noon. That way I can, it's all done.
And you're like, I want to be able to get to sleep at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, like I
was like, at 5 o'clock. What the hell is he talking about? And in my head, I thought, he's gone from rock and roll to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anyone who's ever been to Cleveland knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Cleveland shuts down at like 6 p.m. sharp.
Dude, it's so
They're
weird.
Like, rock and roll. Oh, it's 5:59. Everyone, we got to get home. Shut everything down.
Oh, dude, that reminds me, and this isn't even about the same topic, but when you said rock and roll, it reminds me when I saw it. We saw an 80s concert at the Greek Theater in LA, the Greek Theater.
Yes.
And the third act that came out was that group that sings it goes, "I'll Stop the World and Melt with You." I forget. It goes, Is it the beat or English beat or?
The English beat sounds good. I'll go with that.
Gosh, I forget the name of that group.
Some music aficionado listening to this is just spinning.
I'll stop the world and melt with you. Anyway, so he comes out. It was hilarious because he was third on. The sun had just gone down, but it was still a little bit light in the sky. And he goes, by the way, listeners, I'm going to curse here because I'm quoting what he said. So he goes, I'm going to drop an F-bomb. He goes, "Oh, we having a good time." And the crowd's like, yeah. But there was still like some empty seats in the sun. You know what I mean? It's still, the headliners hadn't come out yet. And he goes, "Oh, we having a good time?" Yeah. Then how about showing some fucking enthusiasm? and then it wasn't like because he was kind of like he said that, and it wasn't like they kicked into like Panama by Van Halen. They
Right.
kicked into
He went right back to slow jam.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
I like to think he did that like on his wedding night. Then how about you show some fucking enthusiasm?
You don't like my Incredible Hulk trick? No.
Did we just get married?
Yeah.
Then how about you show some fucking enthusiasm? What's funny is now I don't remember what the guy from the English Beat looks like, and for some reason what I'm picturing is like a gothed up Dudley Moore.
Oh yeah, they pretty much were wearing all white, and they were very pale, and that's what they look like.
Show some fucking enthusiasm.
Yeah, there was another group that. Oh yeah. It was. Do you remember Men Without Hats? They had a song called "Safety Dance."
I think they were called Men with Hats, weren't they?
I think it was Men Without Hats. No,
You're thinking of Doctors Without Borders.
Do you have? I was gonna say
these are Men with Hats, though.
I was gonna say, do you have Google in front of you? Because
I do. I can check.
I'm recording on my phone, and I'm afraid if I Google it, it'll end this wonderful podcast.
Let me see.
Look
here.
up "Safety Dance" song, Men Without or whatever. I think it's Men Without Hats.
Okay, hang on. Because
hopefully I'm right, because I did write a joke about it, because a lot of them were bald and they were wearing hats now.
You're right. It is Men Without Hats.
So now that they've gone from Men Without Hats. I
remember this video vividly. It was Vigo from Ghostbusters 2 and a dwarf, and they were like dancing around medieval times.
Yep.
England. And the biggest memory I have of that song from when it came out was there was a roller rink that was the only thing to do in elementary school. That was like,
oh, cool.
That was as close to like a dance club as you could get in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And so I would go there, but I couldn't skate very well. And I remember being like trying to roller skate, and 2 other nerds were on the rink with me, and there was nobody else in there, and we were all terrible at skating. And just to be a dick, the DJ started playing Safety Dance while we were doing it, because we were all awful.
I love that part of the song where it would go like, they go S S S S A A A A F F F F F E
Safety.
You can dance. You can dance if you want to. Guess what song they opened with? They hit right when they do some enthusiasm. They walk off. Next group comes out. The band sets up. The lead singer walks straight to the microphone. What do you think he started with?
Safety Dance?
Yep. First words out of his mouth. You can dance if you want to. The crowd went nuts, dude. It went nuts. It was almost like, that's how you show some enthusiasm,
and then it was
mate.
all a letdown after that.
Yeah. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. And if your friends don't. It was awesome. No, guess what? So he did that song.
Because your friends don't dance. And if they don't dance,
they're
no friends of mine.
Yeah. So he did that. He did a few more songs. And what do you think their last song was?
Safety Dance again?
You got it. Only this time they did the spelling version. S.
Oh, they did like the extent. That's smart.
Yeah.
You can't, as a comedian, you can't do that. Once the audience knows the punchline, you can't tell that exact same joke, the extended version. You can only
hickory dickory dock. Hey, we'll get back to that later.
Yeah, you can do like a callback. Yeah. I've seen a lot of comedians do that where they end on a callback.
Hey, you opened for Dice Clay a lot. Did that ever happen with the Dice Man? Did they just want the poem so much that he would say that he would open with the poems?
He did that out of anger, out of frustration.
Yeah.
Not very often, but like I think he did maybe 1 or 2 shows in his career, and I didn't see these. He told me about them. But like the thing is, people want those rhymes so badly. And he was like, that's the big close. It's like my signature bit. Where am I going to go from there? You know, what are you going to do that's going to top that?
Yeah.
You know, it's like they know it by heart. They sing along with it. And so people like, right when I get on stage are like, do the rhymes. And it's like, if I do that, we got a 5-minute show. Yeah. You know,
maybe. Yeah, exactly. Because you maybe he played with it because you might want to be like, you know, because as a comic, you're like, you want to open the way you want to open, but you want to give the audience a little,
like, you know, he's going to do it. Trust me. But do you really want to pay $50, you know, a ticket to come see a guy do one thing once for 5 minutes
or
and then leave?
Yeah, or I wonder if like you're like, okay, I'm going to do one for him to kind of get it out of the, but then the drunks might take over and be like, keep doing and then you're like,
yeah, I mean, like he honestly, like, he's one of the best comedians I've ever seen live.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I mean, there's a reason he was the first guy to sell out the Garden, and it's not just the rhymes. You know, he has so much presence on stage, so much charisma, so much potential energy. Like, he's really good at like just even the silence is entertaining.
Dude, let me tell you what I'll tell the audience this. I remember when I saw him up north. I got to do he did the early show and I did the late show, and so I went there early to watch him, and just to see him like having like the doorman and everything creating like, you know, like he goes, and I think he even asked me to do it, like, hey, can you stand there and kind of make a wall of like people so it looks like he's got all these bodyguards and entourage that are kind of, you know what I mean, like it's an illusion, basically, like stand between me and the audience. So as he's walking, it's almost like you see somebody walking through a picket fence, like you're getting glimpses, and then you're not, and then you are, then you're not, then you are, and it's like there he is, and then the music, and then I remember like you talk about building tension, crowd would go nuts, then he would stand there. And the crowd would go nuts, almost like Michael Jackson at Super Bowl. Remember when he would just take off his sunglasses and then turn his head and the crowd goes crazy? Yeah. So Dice would like stand there and the crowd's going nuts. And then when it would calm down, he'd take out his metal lighter. I forget what they're called, those lighters that make that noise. Yeah, Zippo. All that. He'd light up his cigarette. And I don't remember if he did the behind the head thing. I don't know if he did that.
Yeah, he would do the over the shoulder sort of.
Yeah, you kind of put your arm like, and then you turn your neck, and then you take a puff. But I do remember the tension. Let's just say he did that. Let the smoke out. They're waiting for him to say one thing. He'd tap on the mic and he'd go test.
Yeah,
and they go and you go pa test. And they go test, and then he would start. So met the, you know, whatever. And it was just like...
And that would get a huge laugh. Starting with that.
All the entertainment, all that build up. And that's, you know, what is that? Like 3 to 5 minutes right there of just like, you know.
Yeah, it's pure entertainment. And he studied so much. He told me he studied more musicians than comics.
Yeah.
That like he learned more from like watching Elvis or watching James Brown or, you know, all these different guys, and the way they didn't have words, you know, like they had the music. And so
can you, off the top of your head, can you think of anything that either you've learned from a musician or something that you noticed that he maybe have learned from a musician?
Well, he told me to just kind of like pay attention to how musicians control the crowd. And I would say the example that comes to mind immediately as far as like one of the best I've ever seen, and it was so good they made a movie about it, was Freddie Mercury, you know, from Queen.
Oh, yeah.
That dude, I don't care if you were like the most homophobic dude in the world. If you were at a Queen concert, you were having a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they put on a show, you know, and like that dude, if he hadn't been a musician, he would have been an amazing stage actor, because he just brought so much presence on stage and so much charisma.
Yeah.
And
I'm picturing that scene with the, you know, like the mic stand, how it kind of would break off and then you'd have that long, and you go, hey, oh.
Yeah, he he would play that crowd like an instrument, like if you haven't seen the actual thing, they do it in the movie as kind of like the finale of the movie, but the Live Aid performance that they did,
Oh, so good.
it was their biggest moment as a band.
Live Aid was great, and I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I think I saw it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but like the thing about Live Aid that is amazing is that in the movie, you see all these people like clapping in unison to Radio Gaga, right?
Yeah.
But they have a few of the extras that are like a little bit off. And that's because I realized the reason they did that is so that it looked believable. Because in reality, 30,000 people clapping in unison, a few of them are going to be a little off rhythm, right?
Yeah. Dude, that's me. Sometimes my son does something where he gets us to clap and I'm clapping. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm like off, like, damn, it's just basically me, him, and my wife. And I'm like, how am I still getting off beat here?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of yous in the crowd,
Yeah.
But you watch the actual concert and everyone is in perfect unison. Like, you can't find someone who's offbeat in that crowd. That's how good he was at what he did.
Yeah.
That, like, everyone was like, this matters so much, and I'm not going to disappoint
There's a guy I want you to...
I'm going to do it right,
Yeah. There's a guy I want the audience to look up on YouTube, Mike, if you haven't looked him up. Have you heard of Martel?
No.
Marc Martel, M-A-R-C, Marc Martel. He is I believe the only sanctioned Freddie Mercury tribute band that's sanctioned by the band Queen. Like, this guy, his voice is so spot on. In fact, they used his voice in for certain parts of Bohemian Rhapsody, and they don't say where it was because I don't think they want to ruin the illusion. But Marc Martel is like, there's a video, I think it was, I looked it up, I think somebody sent it to me, and I became a fan of his. It's, I think Bohemian Rhapsody all in one take. And it's like, oh my God. And you're hearing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this guy is, and it's funny. I saw him in an interview. He said about, 10 years ago, and this might've been 12 when he said this, but, he said that he was in a band, he's from Canada, and he kept hearing like, you sound so much like Freddie Mercury. You sound so much like Freddie Mercury. And and I don't know if he's being funny or not, but I was like, who is this Freddie Mercury? And then he looked it up and he's like, oh, okay. And so he's like, I'm just going to double down on it and just go into it, man. He's great. Marc Martel.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'm looking him up right now.
Yeah, seriously. But, it's like, look that guy up. It's like, he's so good. And am I right about that? I don't know if you're on YouTube or not, but I think it's Bohemian.
Well, I can't hear him right now, but
But if you just go to video, Marc Martel.
Darren, I'm doing a podcast right now. I can't be listening to music and stuff.
Exactly. No, I know. Yeah, please don't. But I was going to say that if you look up on his YouTube channel, if you look up,
I'll check it out. You know who else sounds like him? But they do their own music. The band Fun.
Oh.
They're kind of new, kind of old.
How do you spell it?
Fun, F-U-N.
Oh, Fun. Okay, cool. Fun, F-U-N. I'll look it up. Fun. They
I'm trying to think of one of their hits.
I think I was trying to
think.
They're
very, very popular.
For this Marc Martel part, I was thinking. My guess is in the movie.
You know that song that goes tonight.
Yeah.
That's them.
Tonight. Oh, they're good. Oh, I love that song. I love that song.
But the singer sounds very, very much like Queen.
Man, I wish I could sing. I can't. I can barely sing.
Well, you don't. It's not a contest.
That's true. I'm not going to go up against Fun.
To. You have your own thing. You have the red hair.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have that anymore, buddy. I did.
I'm sure you'll think of something. You got.
I've got something. I've got a podcast that people. They don't even, you're like going on YouTube. Now what do you see, Mike? Now what do you see on YouTube?
You're Darren Carter, the party starter that goes to sleep at 6 o'clock.
Exactly. That's one thing, dude. Like you tell because I've been out here in the country, you tell time differently in the country. Like I don't even use the clocks or the thing. I just go by the sun. Like I literally, that's probably what it was. Because I'm like, I'll tell people, hey, I'm gonna call you after dark. Once the sun goes down, I'll give you a buzz. Or because I'm like, I'm gonna try to get as much outdoor sunshine, bicycle, jogging.
Now, did you move to the country out of fear that like COVID was eventually going to morph into like a zombie thing? And you're like, I want to have as much distance between me and the zombies as possible.
I know they're going to take Sunset Boulevard and turn left and go over Barham. I just know it, man. They're going to hit the 101, exit. Yeah. No, you know what? I think it's when they locked all, everywhere I wanted to go. The clubs were shut down. The comedy was shut down. The bar, the restaurants, my son's taekwondo, the schools. And then when it got to the point where it was like, you couldn't even go to I think now you can, but I think you couldn't even go to the park and walk around. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I was running around, parking lots and just, I had a friend that would go to like, what do you call it? Costco parking lots and just get some exercise. Then he got kicked out of a Costco parking lot at like 11 at night. And he's like, I'm just trying to walk. And they're like, you can't do that, sir. You can't do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, I can't walk it. Yeah. So
I'm doing it.
Yeah, watch. I'm doing it. You watch. Now I'm going to go from walking to running. You want to chase me? Let's do this.
Yeah, it's getting real Mad Maxy in all the big cities. So yeah. I get why people are leaving and stuff, but
yeah, and I'm lucky and blessed and all that stuff of being from California. So I'm not that far away. It's like basically like a quick,
yeah.
I listen to a podcast, boom, I'm back home. It's not that far away. But what's interesting is you learn stuff like, I've been able to cut my own hair, and I actually cut my son's hair. What's that?
Have you though?
Yeah, have you? Well, I got one style, and it's called the shaved bald Bruce Willis look.
Right.
That's what we're going for. Yeah. Have you ever cut your own hair?
That's all I do now is because I went like completely bald up top. So if I let it do what I've been letting it do, I look like some sort of weird scientist.
Yeah.
Like I have black hair, but it's gray on the temples and bald on top.
Yeah.
I look like a supervillain but now it's like I have no choice. It's either I go from like Lex Luthor to Dr. Doom. It's like there's no normal look. I don't get to look normal anymore.
Yeah. See, when there's movies and you're casting and you're running around auditions, you're like, yeah, I'll sport this look and see if it, maybe maybe I'll get cast as something. But when that's not really happening, it's like, nah, I'm not really into this look.
Yeah. Like right now, there's nothing to do. Like you can't like audition or anything like that. But I probably look more interesting now than I've looked in years. Like I don't know if it's like speaking role interesting. It might be like background weirdo interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely. I feel pretty confident that they would put me on Sons of Anarchy without question.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would give me lines. They'd be like, let him be one of the Sons of Anarchy that's in the background that's like fixing the Coke machine or something,
Can you make your voice rough? Can I hear you say, hear you say this line like
give me a line.
Okay, here's the line. The line is you need to move that car out of that parking space right now.
Son, you need to move that car out of that parking space right now.
Now say it a little bit more intense, like you have a crowbar that you're about to whip out.
You need to move that car out of that parking space right now.
Ooh, I like that. Now let me hear you say it. Like you're the first one that got there on your motorcycle, and then the Hells Angels, there's about 50 of them. They're coming right now, and the leader needs to park in that spot, and you need to tell.
Or this person will die.
Yes.
If they don't do it.
Yeah, you're a good biker, and you're just telling this guy you need to move it now because you all hell's going to come down. It's going to be thunder and lightning. All right.
I like your idea of danger.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do the motorcycle. Wait real quick. I'll do the motorcycles in the background.
Okay. Hey, buddy, you need to move that car out of that space right now. I'm serious. It's your funeral.
Now I want you to say it like you're the manager at Applebee's.
Hi, is this your vehicle?
Yes.
I need, okay. I hate to be this guy, but I need you to move it because we have a to-go order coming in and they're very serious about their riblets. And I'm going to need you to move the vehicle to one of our other spots.
Dude, I want you to be that guy on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. The Sons of Anarchy / Applebee's owner.
Dude, that was good. So you got to do some acting.
Yeah. So I can tell everyone I didn't waste the entire pandemic.
Exactly. I auditioned for a part that's not even there anymore.
Well, I did do quite a stirring rendition of a biker gang leader / food restaurant chain owner
at Applebee's and on the Pocket Party podcast.
Darren's Pocket Party podcast. So.
Oh man, we see that we should do this. Listeners, let us know. I'm thinking seriously. I'm thinking about writing one page. Like I'm just gonna start simple, one page dialogue. Maybe doing like how they used to do radio plays, and
right.
I could write it out and then just kind of like what we just did, except make something happen, make there a story.
We should try and do radio play commercials, get sponsors, do a radio play for Rolaids or something like that.
Yes. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because if they're only going to be a minute, that's about how long a commercial is.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I kind of cracked the code on when I got here. I used to do a lot of commercial acting. And what I figured out was all my friends were like, what acting classes are you taking? Or what? And I was like, I'm not, but I used to do a lot of improv. And that's really the key for commercials, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're telling a 30-second story. You don't really have time to do an in-depth character study or anything like that.
Right.
When you're at an audition.
Yeah, and your line might be, here's your pizza. So you can't be like...
Yeah, so you have to find a way to say that is different from the 300 other guys that said it. And still fun and has a character and tells a story. And improv just teaches you all of that. So anyone who wants to sell out early... that's the way to go. Take an improv class. And,
learn how
that'll help you get into commercials, I think.
You know what I was thinking about, when I said a radio play, was it you that was telling me about War of the Worlds, that 1938 radio drama?
Oh, yeah. That based on the H.G. Wells novel, War of the Worlds. Orson Wells, no relation. His Mercury Theater Company, which all the people that are in Citizen Kane are the rest of that company. And John Houseman, a famous British actor, produced a radio rendition of it, but it was meta before anyone knew what meta was.
Yeah.
So it played like a normal radio broadcast that evening. They were and now we have the Silver Sisters singing How Much to Love You or something like that.
Yeah.
And they would let it happen. They're singing their song, and halfway through the song they would go, we interrupt this broadcast to let you know that in Grover Mills, New York, something terrible is happening. We don't know exactly what. We're going to go over to our reporter. And so it sounded like they were just cutting into the radio, and telling you what was happening. And no one had TV, so they just believed it.
Yeah, I was reading about it because they said that it was very uncommon. They didn't really take breaks or do commercials until 35 minutes in. So when they started doing that, it was very unusual. And like you said,
yeah, and people were like, "What's going on in New York?" And they had really good sound effects and stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, aliens have a spacecraft has landed, and a man is getting out, and someone goes over to talk to him, and they just hear this like, they're like, oh God, that guy burst into flames, and so people were like, what is happening in New York?
Yeah.
And some people were like, that's it. Aliens have landed on Earth. And they can't be reasoned with, and they're firing laser beams at us and stuff. So people were like jumping out the window, and like they were like, "It's all over." They're like, "I'm not gonna try and fight aliens," and so they like jumped out the window. Other people did get ready to fight aliens, and they like built suits of armor out of pots and pans and stuff, and like grabbed rakes and shotguns, and were like, okay, we got to get to that place in New York. And a lot of them showed up there with no one to fight.
Oh, yeah, because they act like even the on-air talent, like they left the building, and then there'd be, I think there was like a famous quote, something like, is anybody there? Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? So it sounded so like, whoa, this is crazy. And
yeah, like by the finale of it, the aliens have pretty much taken over. But then they, kind of like the movie that they made out of it later, spoiler alert, but like, they just kind of drop dead from our environment.
Oh yeah, microbes or something like that.
Yeah, and we're just kind of left to deal with the aftermath. And then Orson Welles cuts in at the very end. He's not in most of the broadcast. I think he plays like one of the newscasters, but at the very end, he's like, "Hello, I'm Orson Welles, and thank you for listening to our rendition of H.G. Wells', War of the Worlds." And just from now, the broadcast took place on October 31st. And so he goes, just remember those creepy little green men that you see tonight aren't aliens, they're Halloweens. and that was the end of it. But like, they all thought that they just did a fun little radio play, and that was it. It wasn't until the next day that they found out, oh, people died, man. People like jumped out windows and were like trying to defend themselves and stuff,
Yeah, that's, imagine if we were so realistic that somebody was actually listening to this podcast when you were telling them to get out of the parking space, and
they're like, oh no, I should move.
Oh no, they told me to move from this one too. And then now an Applebee's manager told me to, I'm not even at Applebee's. I'm at TGI Fridays. Yeah.
Imagine being like that talented that you accidentally pull something like that off.
Yeah, that'd be like a feather in your cap. Like, yeah, I did that.
Oh, that's way more realistic than we expected.
Yeah, yeah.
That guy did that. He did The Shadow, which was like a radio play that was like a weekly thing, or I think maybe even nightly. And that was like a huge success. Then he goes on to do Citizen Kane, which is still by most like professional film critics accounts, it may not be their number one, but it's in like the top 3 always, of like revolutionary movies and stuff, and then it just all kind of like petered out, and the last part of his career was just like selling wine and stuff, on commercials.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Never
like,
drink a
and now
wine
they
before
released
it's time.
like all the like cutting room floor footage of him drunk while he's doing those commercials and stuff. And it's kind of funny. Like he's like, it's the commercial that's the most famous is the Paul Masson one, where it's a couple having nice dinner and they get a bottle of Paul Masson wine, and Orson Welles just kind of shows up at their table and goes, the California wine, Paul Masson, blah, blah, and starts telling them about it. But he's drinking it while they're doing each take. And so after a few takes, he's pretty lit, And he's like, there's one where they show where they're like, action.
Yeah, oh no.
Orson, it's your line. He doesn't do anything first?
Oh
No. Oh. Well, let's do it again. It's like,
oh my
just
gosh.
out of it,
That's funny.
but they're worth checking out. They're on YouTube. You can find them pretty easily.
I want you to tell the story, and then we'll let me do some quick questions, and then I'll have you tell a story.
Okay.
Is there anything you've recently discovered? These are all questions about happiness. I like to do this on the podcasts. Usually I go with 5 questions. Sometimes it's less, but here's what we got. I'm just gonna ask you a few. Is there something that you've recently discovered or rediscovered?
I have rediscovered the original Kenner Star Wars action figures from when I was a kid.
Wow.
Like the Walmart and Target have done like re-releases of them on the same package and everything, and they look exactly the same, but they just have a big sticker on them that says this is a reproduction, so that everyone knows that you can't sell it on eBay for like hundreds of dollars or whatever.
Do you? I got a quick question. Are they cheaper at Walmart?
I think they're about the same price. They're like $15.
It's funny. There's some things that I find. Well, there's a lot of things that are cheaper at Walmart. So it depends on what you want to buy. But sometimes I will say I think the quality, depending on the product, is probably better at Target. I think I hate to say that because I want both of them to be sponsors. But
right, I feel the same way. I feel like I would just say Target is a little bit more discerning.
Like
about what merchandise they'll carry and what they won't. Walmart is just kind of like, hey, buyer beware. Yeah,
like if you're gonna buy a cup. And you're like I bought a water bottle for my bike, okay, and the one at Walmart was like, oh, it was great, and it was inexpensive. Then I got one at Target, and let's just put it this way: the one at Target I still use. It lasts a lot longer. The one at Walmart, I think it falls a couple times. The caps, whatever. It's like but it did work for a while. It worked for a summer, so I'll say that.
Like the grabber, the extended thing with the trigger, and you can just grab things with it.
Yep.
They're terrible. They're not very good. But they've been kind of like improving over time.
Yeah.
And they used to like the little suction cups would fall off. And that's the end of it. Once that happens, it's ruined.
Yeah.
And the arm is not very strong. So like lifting a Coke can is a challenge, that kind of thing, but they've improved. And now the suction cups are designed where they can't really fall off. And so I was looking for one, and I went to Target, and I was like, where do you guys keep the grabbers? And they were like, oh, we don't carry those anymore. And I was like, what do you mean you don't carry them anymore? And they were like, oh, they were breaking too often, and we just don't carry merchandise that doesn't work.
See?
And I was like, oh, okay. And so I went to Walmart and got one.
Like, we've got pallets and pallets and pallets of them.
They're like, it might break. Return it.
You get 10 for one. Or whatever.
We'll get you set up with a new one when that one breaks.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to think those were like gag gifts, and I realized like, no, you can actually. They're functional. Like, we have this one cupboard. I'll tell you what I use it for. There's a cupboard. And we, if you have like things way in the back, like water bottles or canned goods or something, and you can store stuff back there. But before I'm like, my arm only reaches so far. And then with the grabber, you're like, no, you can really get in there and pull it out. What do you use your grabber for? That almost sounds like that's a commercial.
There's a question to ask every comedian.
And what do you use your grabber for?
I use it. The thing that I've used it most for is putting things on my wall. Like if it's up high and like I have like a framed picture or like a figure in a package or something like that I want to put like up high on my wall, I'll put like adhesive mounting on the back of it, and then use the grabber on the front of it, and you can place things real accurately where you want them that way. And then just push them against the wall and they'll stick there and be good, And it's a lot easier than trying to like hammer and nail and all that sort of
stuff. I remember one of my first apartments in LA where I got to live alone. I moved out of my roommate's apartment, so I was like, I finally got my own place, and I was all, like I said, I was all jacked up and excited and endorphins, and it was like 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna nail this clock to the wall, and I'm like pounding, bam, 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 bam. Didn't realize that you could hear everything in that apartment.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the landlady was like, Darren, you cannot do that. You can't be hammering nails in the wall. And I was like, ooh, okay. I was like 25 or whatever, 26. Like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's weird because LA doesn't. They have like apartments for all single people,
Yeah.
but they're an arm and a leg to get into one of those.
Those were pretty thin walls because I remember that same neighbor, which I don't blame her. I probably started off on the wrong foot with that. I mean, it was my fault. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
hammer and nail 2 a.m. What was I thinking? But I remember she got a little upset with me because my microwave was beeping too loud. And so I realized, like, oh, you got to catch the thing before the thing goes, if you're going to eat at a certain time, because they don't, you know what I mean? Yeah.
She is a little too sensitive.
They don't want to hear, like,
I have
beep,
a
beep,
neighbor
beep. Yeah.
that wails at the top of her lungs every day.
Really?
For like 2 hours, just screaming, crying,
Oh.
and yelling at the top of her lungs.
Is it like vocal warm-ups, or is she an actress, or just mental illness?
No, she's like, like life is horrible.
Oh no.
But in a different language, but like she just screams her ass off, and I don't ever complain about it. I don't say anything about it. I'm like, that's her business. Just let her deal with her life. It's only when you're in the bathroom.
Oh, dude, dude, this is funny. I forgot. I actually did this as a joke. So I used to never and then my wife and I, we used to live in an apartment, very nice apartment. It was always had like families next to us, quiet. Everyone was respectable. But there was a time, and I don't know if they were doing Airbnb or what they were doing, but there was an apartment right next to us, like the next door apartment, like same building, just the next door. And there was like an improv group that used to have, dude, not only would they do improv, they had a microphone and speakers, like a karaoke machine, and I'd be out doing sets at the Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, Improv, wherever I was at. And my wife was like, she's like, they were doing improv again. And it was annoying because, and here's the joke I'd say, they'd be like, 3 a.m, all right, give us a suggestion. And I'd be like, bang, 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 shut the fuck up.
How's that for suggestion?
Exactly. They moved out, and then we also ended up moving. But it was a funny time in art because when I'd come home, I didn't really notice it, but
I got a suggestion. Stop being assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Try doing improv during the daytime.
Go to bed.
Oh, I got one for you. Okay, here's the last thing I'd like to end on. Besides do you have any words of wisdom?
No.
Okay, then we'll move on. You give us enough words of wisdom.
Wear a rubber.
Wear a rubber and get a grabber.
Yeah, that's
and move that parking spot.
That's the Sons of Anarchy guy wants you to wear a rubber.
Double grabbers. Have a double grabber.
Take a few antacids if you're going to eat a lot of chili.
Dude, that's the first thing you should do. That's funny. It's the first thing you should do after COVID, when you get back to a comedy club, grab the mic with a microphone. Don't shake anyone's hand. Use one grabber to shake their hand and one grabber to move the microphone out. Hello, everyone.
That's actually that would be really funny to see someone do that.
I know. Okay, and guys, you got to hear this. This is a great story. He told this to me the other day, and I was like, I never even heard of it. It's called Hark, I Hear a Cannon Roar.
Yeah. Okay. This is an old theater story, so a lot of your people who've done a lot of theater will know it, but it gets kind of passed around in theater circles and stuff. But it's the way the story goes is this guy is an actor, and he's been out of work for months. Like he can't get arrested. He can't get a job under any circumstance. So he's talking to his agent, and he's like, look, I will take anything. Just get me some work. I got to pay the bills and stuff like that, And the manager's like, it's tough right now. It's real hard out there, but I'll see what I can do. Great. Okay. So he goes back home and he looks at this big pile of bills that he's got. The phone rings, and he doesn't even let a full ring go. Hello. Yeah, I got you a job. So it's a last minute thing. It's down at the Long Beach Playhouse. That's about an hour and a half from you. Can you make it? Yeah, I will get there. Just trust me. What do I need to do? They're going to have your costume for you. They're going to tell you everything you need to know when you get there. All you need to do is memorize your line. Great. What's my line? Your line is, "Hark, I hear a cannon roar." Okay, and when you get down there, just check in. They'll get you squared away. Great. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." So he runs down, goes down to his car. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar." Starts it up. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar." He's off. He's on the freeway. He's on the 110, and he's going down. And of course, there's like accidents on the 110. It's broken down. He's like, "Oh, come on. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." He's like, "Everyone stop gawking. None of you are helping. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." He gets down there and they go, "Oh, are you the guy?" "Yes, I am. My agent." "Great, great. You get into wardrobe." They start putting the costume on him, and it's old Civil War type gear, and he's like a full general. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." And they put medals on him, and they put those shoulder pads with the fringe hanging off of them, a big hat. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." They're like, "Is that your facial hair? Are you married to that?" He goes, "I'll do whatever." And so they shave it and make it look like old Civil War style, and like they do the mustache wax and curl it up. "Great. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon. Don't forget your sword." "Yeah, give me the sword." So they put it on your belt. Okay, so he puts it on his belt. "Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." And they go, "Okay, when you're on stage, you might want to draw the sword out when you say that. That'll look, ooh, that's good. I like that. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon roar." The stage manager's like, "Wait here. When it's your time, I will cue you to go on, and you go on stage, say your line, and then we'll cut to blackout, and you exit, and you're done. Get your check and go home." "Awesome. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Hark, I hear a cannon." Stage manager gives him his cue. He goes out on stage, full house. Everyone's looking. Spotlight hits him. Cannon goes boom, and he goes, "What the fuck was that?"
Dude, that is so funny. That's a great story.
I love that story.
And it's so, man, you tell it so well. I get, my palms are sweating because I picture myself like, okay,
As an actor, you can't help
Hark,
but
I
be
hear,
like,
yeah.
What is he gonna do? Okay, is he gonna do it?
Oh my gosh, Mike Black, thank you for being on the Pocket Party podcast. And
Dude, thanks for having me.
Dude,
I always have a great time.
Yes, and you guys let Mike know you like him. Check him out on Instagram. It's Mike Black Attack. Mike Black Attack, and
I'm also on Twitter, same handle, and on TikTok, I'm Mike Black TikTok.
Nice.
Mike Black TikTok, but I spelled it different than the app. I spelled it like the way you normally spell it, like TICK TOCK, because I messed it up.
Nice. Do us a favor, guys, and share this episode and give it a review on iTunes. I haven't been asking that for a while, but if you get a chance, go to iTunes, just give it 5 stars, say love the, whatever you want to say.
Like, follow, subscribe.
On YouTube, like, follow, subscribe. All that stuff helps. It builds it up. And
what really helps, I found, I don't know about you, is comments.
Yes.
Like if people leave like any sort of like comment that's positive, of course.
Yeah.
Really, really helps out on any of the social
Shout
media
out to
stuff.
Tobias. Shout out to Canadian Maple Syrup. Shout out to Cindy Larson. I'm just going off the top of my head. I want to thank everybody who comments.
Is Canadian Maple Syrup a person?
He is I'm assuming yes, he is a person. Yeah, I believe. Yes.
Hey, Canadian Maple Syrup.
See, that's the thing. I wish I could open my phone and look so I can get the exact name, but I'm afraid that this thing will end and I'll be like, but yes.
Yeah.
And also, if you like to help, every little bit helps. Venmo at Darren Carter, DarrenCarter.com. I have a PayPal, so DarrenCarter.com, or go to Venmo. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Mike, you're the best. Thank you so much, and let's do this again soon. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
You got it, buddy. Bye. Oh, look at you! You made it all the way through. That was really cool, man. Hark, I hear a cannon roar. Let me know that you like this, because I'm a glutton for feedback, and I think this is really cool. I record 2 ways. I record via Zoom, so there's video, but I also did this. This is all over the phone, so you'll notice the quality was really good. The audio quality is really good. So there you go. All right, that's enough of that. Get on with your day. Have a great day. And like I said, if you want to stay in shape and do a little something, have a little yellow legal pad and write it down. I write down 50 push-ups. When I get done with them, I put 50 and I put the date. And just seeing that pad with the calendar on it, January, whatever the date is, boom, you write 50 and you see it and you make yourself accountable. So every little bit helps. Just do a little bit in your life, and the next thing you know, you're like, wow, I lost a few inches off my waist. My arms feel strong. And, as I learned from the boxing gym, I'm going to leave you with this. This was, I had a Coach Stan Ward, rest in peace. Stan Ward would say this. This is awesome. When the boxers would leave, he'd say, all right, don't hurt nobody. Okay, all right, don't hurt nobody. And when I'd leave, be careful. So I'm telling you guys, be careful. Don't hurt nobody, including yourself. Be positive to yourself and keep shining. All right. See you next time.